class example 1. Minutes of Marvel Limited. So here we can see that they are public. Board of Directors meeting. Captain USA FD proposed that the board award the tender for taxation services to his wife's company, TaxSmart Pty Limited. So now I can see that from a Companies Act perspective, we've got a related party, and therefore we've got potentially director's interest in contract or director's personal financial interest, so your section 75. And here from a King perspective, you've got a director with a conflict of interest. He noted that his wife was aware that they needed to pay as little tax as possible due to their weakening financial position, so she would be able to find smart ways to reduce their tax payable. So now, what we're starting to see again from a Companies Act perspective is directors' conduct. Looking like there's potential unethical behavior from your director, so not acting in the best interest of the company, not in good faith, and so on. And with regards to your king, the exact same thing with regards to your director's conduct. Okay. Then we get to our required comment on the above in terms of king. So I'm only focusing on king. I can now go and ignore the two elements from the Companies Act. Remember guys, the reason why I've put this down is because we've done Companies Act now. And we don't know what the required is going to be. So now every time I read a point, I make the notes as I read it from the information I have stored already. Okay, so comment on the above in terms of king. So it's for 3 marks. What do I have to do? My first step is to put down the theory from King and then go and apply the information to the question. So where I've already seen here, director has a potential conflict of interest, I will put down that point and as a theory mark and then go and apply the fact that the FD has proposed to use the services of his wife. So that's the application of showing that there is a conflict of interest. Once again, director's conduct. I will first go and put down the fact of that a director needs to act in the best interest with due care, in good faith. And then I will go and apply the fact that they potentially are looking to defraud their SARS. Okay, for their company to pay less tax. So I apply that information to the theory. It's for 3 marks, guys. So you can see that if you're going to get a mark for the theory and a mark for the application, if you only identified 1 point, you're already going to pass the question. Alright, so let's quickly have a look at the solution. And there you can see. Guys, I show you here. I state the principle just so that you know where to find it. You don't have to state the principle, but you do have to know it. King requires this. So I would say, King requires that the members of the governing body should avoid conflicts of interest. That's in principle 1. Then I apply the information that the FD is actually proposing that they use his wife's company and therefore is not trying to avoid the conflict of interest. Principle 1 states that members should act in good faith in the best interest of the organization. Here again I apply that he's trying to find smart ways to reduce which potentially unethical means. That's not in good faith, that's not in the best interest. Guys, this principle, you could have stated any of those principles in principle 1 or any of those practical examples in principle 1 that's indicating that you're acting unethically or that directors shouldn't be doing so. Okay, so I've just pulled the one that for me was most appropriate, but I would be comfortable with any of those. Okay, and then principle 3 states that organization should comply with the Constitution of South Africa and laws, etc. So trying to avoid tax would be tax evasion, which is non-compliance with the Tax Act, and therefore we've got non-compliance with the principle of king. Okay, so you could see that there was 6 marks available. You only needed to find 1 or 2 of those principles and be able to continue. Cool.